Hey ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and even a broken clock is right twice a day. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. And if you're not watching us on YouTube, check the lower right-hand corner of your screen. That's our address, youtube.com/@ExplainAmerica. If you go to that and hit subscribe, it really helps us out, guys, and I would really appreciate it. Guys, MSNBC is not known for giving Trump good news or Kamala Harris or Joe Biden bad news. But sometimes you have to tell your audience what they don't want to hear. MSNBC doesn't really do that much. But you have to temper expectations. So before I show you this, I'll temper your expectations. This is a toss-up race now. I'm not going to sit here every day and tell you Trump's got this in the bag. That would be a lie. I'm not going to do that. Maybe you want to hear that. But I can't do that. And I don't want to do that, because I want to make sure you go to the polls. I want to make sure you vote. I don't want you to think he's got it in the bag. First of all, I don't think he has it in the bag. Second of all, I don't want you to think that. Go to the polls and vote. Well, MSNBC, they might be trying the same thing with their end anyway. See, they gave a new poll, and this poll is really bad news for Kamala Harris and the Democrats. There's a particular voting bloc that you would not expect, and it's not the black vote. Particular voting bloc that you would not expect to be leaning towards Trump, that is starting to heavily favor former President Donald Trump. And if that trend continues, Trump will be the next president of the United States. I want you to watch this video, and then I want you to let me know what you think in the comments.
Over at the big board with a look at the Keystone State.
Yeah, John, well, let's take a kind of building on what George was just taking you through there. Big picture in Pennsylvania. And by the way, when you do all of these road to 270 scenarios, I think everyone probably does these at home at some point. It is hard almost for either candidate to find that path to 270 without Pennsylvania. It's so big in terms of the number of electoral votes in that battleground type of state there. So it's such a crucial state, even among the battlegrounds. And the range here is so narrow. 2020, when Biden carried the state, look at it. The margin was about 80,000 votes statewide. Now, remember, Trump carried it in 2016 over Hillary Clinton. The margin then was about 44,000 votes. So between 44,000 for Trump, 80,000 for Biden in a state this big. That's the kind of area we're talking about in terms of, the number of votes you need to swing. And that's why what George was just talking about is so significant, because we talk so much about the Philly burbs. We talk about Pittsburgh. But, he's talking there about Berks County, where Reading is, Lehigh County, where Allentown is, Luzerne County, that's where Hazleton is. Those three cities have the highest share of Hispanic population of any cities in Pennsylvania, and something very interesting politically happening in those three cities. Because remember, we're showing you here, between 2016 and 2020, Pennsylvania moved toward the Democrats. It went from Trump to Biden. It moved several points to the left. But in those heavily Hispanic cities, the three biggest by concentration in the state, take a look. Here's Allentown, Lehigh County. This has the highest concentration of Hispanics in Pennsylvania. It's 54% Hispanic. And look at this. The trend has been toward Republicans. The state was moving toward the Democrats between 16 and 20. But in Allentown, Clinton won it by 42 and 16, fell down to 35 in 2020. This is an area we've talked so much about, the polls showing Trump making more inroads with Latino voters. This is the kind of place where the Trump folks think this trend can continue. Can they knock it down into the 20s this time? Could they do even better than that? Again, you'll see it here. City of Hazleton. Look at the transformation of Hazleton in 2000. She was 5% Hispanic. Now more than 60% Hispanic. And again, look at this trend. It was blue in 2012, Hazleton was, for Obama. And then Trump comes along. He carries it by 5. He improves it to 11. Again, this is the kind of place that Trump folks think they can do better. And again, this is very much a majority Hispanic city. Or Reading. Again, this is where George was, in Berks County. And you just take a look right here. It's overwhelmingly Democratic. But look, from 2012, when Barack Obama won re-election, to 2020, when Biden carried Pennsylvania, that's a drop of basically 20 points in the Democratic margin here in a heavily Hispanic city. So the trend in the most Hispanic cities in Pennsylvania As the state was getting more Democratic in 2020, they were becoming more Republican. So when you think of that very narrow margin there, overall statewide, Biden winning by 80,000, Trump winning by 44,000, these are the kinds of cities where the Trump campaign thinks continue this improvement. There could be tens of thousands of votes that switch just because of that. So that's the significance within Pennsylvania. Do make one point here, though. The early polling we're seeing with Harris getting in Biden's place is suggesting that maybe, and I stress maybe, she is improving her performance among Hispanic voters relative to where Joe Biden was. That's obviously something very important to keep an eye on.
So fascinating. Not